Hello, welcome back to Wombledon. This is episode 2, or part 2, whatever you want to call it, of my how to make cider videos. First one was well received, thank you very much. Lots of new subscribers, considering I only set the channel up for that video, or for this series. So really happy with that. I had a few questions, well, one question, about how the scratter works. So I'll show that in a little bit more detail, which I said I would in the first video, never got round to. Since you last saw me, autumn arrived. It's raining quite heavily today, so you might get some spots on the lens, but there you go, not my problem. So I've still got a few more apples to do. I've actually pressed a load more in the sort of intervening period. It's been about a week since I last saw you, and I've got hold of some more apples. So I've got these few apples here to scrat, and then we'll press them, and we're going to put them into these buckets. Now these are 60-litre buckets. They had food in them. I don't know what food, but they smell a bit vinegary, but it's cool. Just wash them out, give them a good clean, steam them out. I use a what do you call it, one of those little hand steamers, and it cleans them perfectly. And that's that really. So I suppose I better just get on with the scratting. So as you've seen in the previous video, I'm just going to turn that on, but then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the camera over so you can have a look at it a bit more closely. So a bit of noise to start with. Like I say, let's have a look at that in there. Okay, let me show you this scratter in a little bit more detail. All it is a washing machine motor, as you can see there. You can see it's been a little bit butchered to get it in there, but it's a standard washing machine. You know, just a whatever. It was from an old one I found at the side of the road, and then I've just put the belt, the old belt. Let me move that out of the way. Goes from the spindle up here, whatever you call it, the drive, down to this big wheel, which was also off the washing machine, driven by a belt, and then through on this big piece of threaded bar all the way through. And then I've put a big piece of wood in there, big circular piece of wood. I think it's a Roco or something like that. And then put these stainless steel screws in, as you can see. Now the reason you use stainless steel is that obviously it doesn't spoil. So what's going to happen, just let me move around, what's going to happen is the belt will turn, and as it turns it'll grind those apples down. Now obviously without the hopper on I can't actually do it very quickly, but I will show you. I've got some apples up there. Now I'm doing all this one-handed, so bear with me. I've got this adjustable speed controller here, because obviously washing machine motors, they go at all sorts of different speeds. So this was like £5 off eBay or something. It's called an SCR controller if you're looking for one. Now I've lined it with stainless steel as well, from an old machine. Obviously I don't want to get my fingers in there, but just to give you an idea, I'll reach over there, I'll put a few apples in, and you can see it's a bit difficult obviously, but slowly and surely, if the hopper was on you'd be able to see better. So that's what I'll do next, is I'll put the hopper on and you'll be able to see inside there exactly what's going on. Okay, so the hopper's back on now. So what I'll do is I'll bring this, what I've got left of apples over here, and I'll put it on top of my bucket. Now all my bucket is, my collecting bucket, is a water cistern or whatever they call them, out of a loft. Again, found at the side of the road and just butchered for pieces. So yeah, let me show you this. So you can see, it comes out of the bottom like that. Which is the perfect consistency for making cider. So I'll finish that off and I'll be back with you in a minute. So there you go, that's pretty much that. Put that down there. And you can see now, if you look, I'll show you, in the bottom here is the pulp that we're going to put onto the press. So that'll be the next job. So this is what we're left with, and that's the apple pulp. And you can see already that there's quite a lot of juice coming off that. Some of this has been in here for 24 hours because I did a little bit of it yesterday. So now obviously we need to turn this pulp, well, we need to squeeze it so we can get all that liquid out, because that's obviously how you're going to make the cider. So that's where the press comes in. Should have brought a cloth out with me really, shouldn't I? Let's grab one of them. Sorry if you wobble, you're on the same table. There we go. Right, so the press. Like I said in the first video, I think, hydraulic, come off a, what was it? A pickup truck. Built it all, put it up together. This is what I call the drip tray. It's probably got a better name in the industry. And so what you need is you need a former like this, and you need cloths like these. Now these are what they call press cloths, I suppose. But what I use is these things. I don't know if you can see that. Dust sheets. This one is 7.2 metres by 0.9 metres, which is great just for the size of my former. And I just cut them down so they're about 90 centimetres by 90 centimetres like that. And they work perfectly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop that in there. And using this scoop that I've made out of an old bleach bottle, obviously cleaned it out, I'm just going to scoop that in there. And almost immediately you'll see the juice start to run. I don't know if you can actually see the end of it there. What I'll do is I'll just move you slightly to see this like that. You might be seeing me bum a bit, but there you go. Can't help that. There we go. Just 3 or 4 good scoops in there, and you can see how finely pulped that is. There are some bigger bits in there, but you can't win them all. Okay, so there you go. And now you can see it already beginning to run. Now you don't need to worry about it not running clear, because obviously it's all been smashed up. So I'm just going to do that right into all the corners there, which makes for a better press. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. And that noise you can hear is not the rain now, that's the apple juice that's coming out. And at this moment, obviously, it's not fermented. It's actually very nice, it's very sweet. It's okay, then cover that over, like that. Oh, got a little bit of cork there. Over we go like that. And then you take the former out. Like that, just pop that there. And what I use are these pieces of plywood with a load of holes drilled in them, just to sit on the top there like that, which means that then I can do it again. Oops. Now obviously I've used these before, so yeah, I get about a season out of these, and one big dust cloth like that lasts, costs about £7, about $10, something like that. Okay. And again, excuse me humming to myself, it's one of my little things, so if you know the tune, join in. Otherwise, just enjoy it. At least I'm not whistling. It's not the right weather for whistling. And again, we just get it right into the corner there. It's like an apple pie filling is what it's like, just without any sugar. And you can hear that really beginning to go down now. Fold that over. There's no rush, I'm just want to get it done. Make sure it's in there. You can see it's running over the top there, I mean. What I also do, which I've forgotten to do on this one, is I do put the cloth over the top, just to stop any bits of solids going in. It's not necessary, but it just helps to keep your cider clean. Okay, then put that down there. Where's the other one of those? Another one of these. On there again. That's right, yeah. I think. Okay. Some shoddy woodwork here, but I did it myself, so I can only blame myself, can't I? And again, this is one of the fresh ones. Not used this one yet. Put it down like that. I mean, you can see, when I put this in, you'll see how much liquid is actually in here, look. So, all of that is going to make cider. Now, some people add yeast to theirs, but I just prefer to allow it to ferment naturally. There's yeast on everything. It exists all over the place. And a nice natural fermentation is what I like. It takes a long time. I mean, if you put yeast in, you can have it done within a week. But it's insipid. It's not very flavourful. There we go. One more of them. A little bit more. Okay. Push it into the corners again. Got to make sure it's upright and everything back when we finish, which we'll do in a second. Take the former back out. I did forget to do that one time and I couldn't work out why nothing was working. There we go. Take that back out. Okay, put that down there. Don't wobble the camera. Okay. I'll just settle that. And then the last one, I do have some other bits and pieces, these plastic things. Excuse the sirens. The last one is a big piece of hardwood of some description, again screwed with stainless steel screws to this board here so that I can get a good solid press down. And what I do use as well is big bits of what do you call it, railway sleeper. They don't come into contact with anything, so it's not too, and then just turn it on. That high-pitched squeal you can hear is the motor on the pump, and all it's doing is forcing hydraulic fluid into the piston and down. It's about 10 tons when it's fully pressing. One more time. I do lose a little bit. You can see it's not perfect. But in that short time, let's move this one out of the way a second. There's probably, well, let's have a look. I'll bring you over, you can see yourself. 15 litres, 10 litres, something like that. So what I do use are these big 60 litre drums, like I said a minute ago. This one's already about half full. It's full about there. Obviously it's been cleaned out really, really well, and then just decant that into there. Now what you do need to do is you need to get that as close to the top as you can, because if you've got too much oxygen at the top of your cider, it will spoil it. At first it won't matter too much because the fermentation is quite a violent process, if you like. The microbes and nothing will survive really apart from the yeast. As soon as it starts fermenting, everything else will be like, well, we can't live in this. It's too difficult, so they all die off, sink to the bottom, and you're left with that at the end. But we'll see that in 2 or 3 months' time. So I'm just going to carry on here, finish off pressing, fill that up, and then show you what we do next. Right then, I'm back again. My camera keeps playing up. There you go. You can't see my face. It doesn't really matter. So obviously, we want to know what. How much alcohol we're likely to get. So the way to measure it is to use one of these things. This is called a hydrometer. I think it's actually a saccharinometer. So it measures the amount of sugar, or rather the density of the liquid that's coming out of here. And you can take a reading from that. And then at the end of the fermentation, you take another reading, and there's some clever maths, which I might put on the screen if I can work out how to do it in the edit, or I'll put it somewhere. Might have to talk about it somewhere else, but you can look online. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to squeeze a little bit more and fill this jar up. So, we'll turn that on. I've got to wait for those bubbles to settle, which will take a little while. But what I'll do is I'll do this again, but indoors. So I'm going to put that indoors now, allow all those bubbles to go, and also allow this to warm up a little bit, because you want to do this at 20 degrees centigrade. It says so on the little scale there. So I'll put that indoors and we'll take a look at that in a minute. I'll finish off pressing. Oh, and by the way, if you can see there's been a costume change, it's because even though it is raining, it's quite mild. Anyway, carrying on. I do turn that off in between because obviously it is using battery power and it doesn't charge up quite as quickly as it is using the power. Okay, so we've got 5 good cheeses there, whatever they call them. I call them cheeses. A little bit more to go to fill the bucket up. Where's my former gone? There it is. Only got a few more cloths left now. I'm going to try and get all of this in this one, I think. There's only a bit left. You can actually smell that it's just beginning to ferment. This has been, what's in the bottom of here, it's been in here for a couple of days. So it's just beginning to start fermenting. So we won't get a 100% accurate reading on the hydrometer, but that doesn't really matter. As long as we get a general idea, I'll be happy. So here we go then. This is pretty much the last I'll be doing this year. Form out, Jamie, don't forget that. Put that down there, that on there. Will we get one of the big ones in? Just turn it that way, just to, and we go. So there you go, that's pretty much it. Just got to let this settle for a little while now. Get the last of it. This is almost full now, this drum here. Let me move that. I don't know if you can see in there with this camera angle, but yeah, it's pretty heavy. Yeah, as you can see there, you can see it's sloshing near the top. So a little bit more out of there, and then I'll fill this up and I'll show you what I do to make an airlock, which you'll need to do as well. So that's that. Just this last little bit to put in there. Look at that. So that's 60 litres in there. And like I said earlier, you want it as full as you can. Need a little bit of space, but that is as full as we need it. So the next time you see me, I'll be in the shed and showing you how we put this, make this airtight. Obviously we use these that come with these buckets, but also I need to put a hole in the top of this and make an airlock so that the gases can escape. So yeah, next time you see us, I'll be indoors.